Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You have Drive Safe Dave, Sir Rick, and manning the show today, once again, the greatness of Bryce. Bryce, how you doing this morning?
I am doing so good. This is my favorite time of the day. I love being up.
Well, you know what? It tends to be everybody's favorite time of day because they get to spend it with us.
Yeah, this is the show. This is when we come on the air. It should be your favorite time of the day.
It's my favorite time of the day because I learn patience. I learn. Okay.
You know what? And I think that's where I became so patient, a patient person from the same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from you. I am
Iron
full
sharpens
of
iron.
Iron sharpens iron. Drive Safe Dave. All right, real quick here. So iron sharpens iron. Let's talk about the iron sharpening iron of the young kids that were out stealing vehicles yesterday.
Okay. What is that crew? What is that?
I don't know.
First of all, okay, yeah. Not only are they taking it from Carvana.
Hold on, look at this right here. I mean, what I do like about this is that, maybe they're gangsters, but they're showing 3 different gang signs. So for the first time, we have collusion amongst, everybody working together. You know what? 3 different gangs working together to try to steal a vehicle.
Yeah, and
It's teamwork. Yeah, teamwork.
You know what? It's kind of beautiful. It's not how we want it, but it's people working together to create
chaos.
Success.
First of all, they captured them, and those were mug shots. I wouldn't consider that success.
So they took the big truck and tried to create a diversion. You see that it ran through the pole, then the Dodge. I don't know, but they all got caught. It's summertime. Some kids graduate, Dave, and they go to trade school, they go to college, and some kids graduate
get a nice
and they
job,
start
they start
stealing
working.
vehicles, and that's what we saw right here. Listen, just go out and get a job and earn that car. You know what? Odds are there's probably a chip that's not going to allow it to run anyway.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey, guess what? When you steal that vehicle, they don't have gas in it. And at nearly $5 a gallon for fuel right now for the cars. I shouldn't say not diesel, just gasoline.
Yeah.
Now you got to fuel it up. All right, so now you got in and you stole the car, and you got to immediately take it over to the QT to get a little gas in it so you can take it to the chop shop where you're going to go with it. So just think some of these things through right now.
Yeah, they
have some change on you.
That's a little crazy in the idea that they're smashing to get out of the gates, and they're not. I don't really think they thought the whole process through, right? No, right?
No, I'm agree. Yeah, it wasn't really. Yeah, a lot of it didn't happen. Look at all these vehicles. How could we not get caught? They're on the camera. They're on surveillance cameras.
They all got one vehicle.
Yeah, and they're all on surveillance cameras. Like putting the gang signs up. That didn't even make any sense either.
Hey, it's me.
Yeah, put a mask on.
And if you weren't sure who I am, let me give you my sign so you can coordinate that later.
You know what?
Get to the gang unit.
But I'm going to say this. Some of these gangsters, like these guys that stole this, a lot of them were started stealing during COVID. They had already have their mask on. Now that COVID's over, you don't wear your mask.
Yeah.
You know what? Listen, if you're going to steal something, you still need to wear your mask. I'm just trying to help you out.
Facial recognition software doesn't work with a mask.
Make it hard, Make it hard on us. Hey, drive safe. Seriously. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever stolen anything. Well, I have. What's the worst thing you've ever stolen? The most valuable thing?
My wife's heart.
Oh, my God.
What was wrong with that? I set you up for that one.
I'm going to put $20 and say that was just borrowed. You know what? That she'll be taking that back at some point. What have you stolen, dude? Come on. So here I am.
I'm counting back if I've got 7 years.
Drive safe.
I'm counting back if it's been 7 years. Right.
So here's what I've gone before and bought wood to cook with, right? And sometimes you go to like the Kroger. I'm not going to say which one.
Threw more in
went
there
to.
than you were supposed to.
And you go inside, you pay for it, and it's expensive. This wood is that you're going to cook with. And it doesn't make any sense. But I just need it because maybe mine is wet in the back, so I get that and I pay for 3, and I've been known to take 4. That's the extent of what I've done. And you know what?
That doesn't make it okay.
I'm not saying it did, and I'm not saying. I will say it's happened more than once, and
Repent,
I didn't
sir.
feel as bad the second time as I did the first time.
So that criminal behavior, that just kind of goes on and on.
But you know what? I've changed since. That's been a little while, and that's why that's why though I will say this is that a lot of these gangsters, they do relate to Sir Rick because I've been there. I've lived that life.
That OG.
I've lived the life. It just happened to be,
First of all, I'm going to say on air that I have never at any time for any reason whatsoever stolen anything, and I would like to be on record.
Dude, you are, again, it's like you just come clean. I came clean.
I can't. First of all, this is recorded. I can't. And first of all, I'm not sure the statute of limitation laws under each incident, so I'm going to plead the fifth on any accusation pointed at me at this time.
All right, hey, listen, we have Volvo on today, right? Another repeat. You know what? Something's going on. You know what? I love it. This has been a phenomenal week of interviews this week, Drive Safe. I mean, greatness on here. A lot of seasoned veterans, that have came back to us. And it's not us going to them. They're like calling us up saying, man, I want to be back on the show.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, how many times has that happened, Bryce? Never?
Yep, never.
Oh, no.
It sounds good, though. Let me tell you.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Look, we talked yesterday, and I want to go this, so I have the screen ready to go, so we can't have any malfunctions today. All right, this is the van contract, the final reporting. So what I was saying yesterday is right here in the green, that green is the initial quote. So when we get a quotation that comes in RFP, we take it and we go ahead and do that first round bid, right? And the rates go in, and then eventually they come back down. And the blue is kind of where we settled the contracts with.
Wow.
So the green is what the carrier or the broker, what they priced it for originally, and then the blue is kind of where it settled out at. And you can see, though, Dave, in early last year, that it wasn't much different. Sometimes that the final was greater than the initial. Right? The blue.
Explain to me, and I'm just going to ask, how would that happen? Do I come in and say, I'll pull it for $3 a mile, and you said, no, go ahead at $3.30?
So yeah, exactly. So what would have happened on here? I would have went out there and bid it for $3. They would have came back and said, hey, we're going to give that to you. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. So now they got to go with another carrier at a higher rate.
I got you.
I don't have the business for that because I'm pulling spot market freight at crazy rates, or I've taken my power and put it to somewhere else to a carrier that was going to honor some higher rates, right? To make more money. So we see that. So the green are those initial bids. And then, Dave, you see that March period. So the war starts, fuel goes up, and everything's kind of stopped. The freight's gone way down.
And they separate. And
look here. Look at this green, and we'll stay away from the holiday period, but look at the green. We are pricing things what we were pricing, last year, and we don't understand that first round. So we're going there and saying, I still want $2.94 a mile. And the carrier's like, okay, well, and we're settling way down here at $2.70 a mile.
Wow.
It's as big of a change right now as that we've seen ever.
Yeah.
Right? The initial continues to stay up there, which just tells me that when we're quoting freight out there, so brokers, and probably I'm going to say carriers more than a broker. Right. The broker knows the spot market freight. The carriers are doing this, Dave. They're going out there and saying, when they're quoting either long-term contracts or even spot market freight, they're still saying, hey, my truck needs $2.90 a mile, needs $3 a mile, and they're not going to get that load. They're going to go to the spot market and bid that load and get it for $1.94. Right? Does that make sense? That's what they're going to do today.
Yeah.
Because you know what? They don't understand the market. The market has changed.
Wow.
And if you're a carrier out there, you've got to go with that market. You can't go to these things and quote them at $3 a mile and settle for $2.50.
Right.
Because you're not going to get the load. You're not going to get that contract, perhaps.
So, the numbers are very dramatically different. Starting at when everything changed.
Right there, yeah.
Right, when everything changed.
Yep.
They're dramatically different.
March was a period, Dave, that we have spent a lot of time talking about. Is that period of March, and let's just see if this thing will kind of go with it here. Come on, baby. Talk to me. If we can go back to March here, we're going to see a lot of things changed in March. Dave, we're going to start with fuel. Right off the get-go, let's just go back. All right, well, come on. Man alive. What is going on with our thing here? You know what?
I don't know. It's
technology,
it's
technology,
chips.
technology.
It's
It is chips. You know what? It's unbelievable. But here we go. So, Dave, look. So right here in March,
Yeah, it jumped.
fuel jumps up.
Right.
Everything changed in March. Fuel went up. And by the way, Dave, almost a record. It's still a record high. It's still way up there,
Yeah,
right?
it's
On the
ridiculous.
diesel side. So very, very high. Dave, we already talked a little bit about that. Let's look at this. Let's look at the rates per mile. Let's go back again. Let's do year to date in here. March, actually like late February.
Yep. March.
Rates just plummeted down once again.
Yep.
So rates just continue to go down on the spot market side. Here we go again. This is the volume, okay? The outbound tender volume. Dave, look there.
March.
In March, volume just plummets. The war happens.
Yep.
Let's look at one more thing, the rejection. And we know, Dave, that rejections do what? The rejections create that spot market price.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And here it is once again. Look, it started in February, but March, boom,
Yeah.
down. Here's what happened in March. Diesel went up.
Yep.
Freight went down. The consumer confidence went down. Inflation continued to increase. We have less spending out there, discretionary spending, than we've ever had. Dave, it is, now the big question is, and I asked I was asked this question yesterday. I'm going to ask it to you. Are we in a recession?
We are definitely headed in a bear market. Yes, I think we're headed that way, and I'm not real sure where we're going to go. I don't until fuel prices settle. That 2 or 3% that's on our inflation, that's where it's coming from, and we're not going to be able to curb that until fuel prices come down. And I think in as long as fuel prices remain high, we're going to continue to see this right here.
Yeah, I think, and
I think it revolves around fuel.
That fuel, the diesel, this is
100%.
significant, and that alone will make a difference in what we're
100%.
seeing. So, are we in a recessionary period? Yes, I just don't know what that means, right? I don't think it's the same thing as, say, past recessions. This is kind of different, kind of a recession. I think we are in it, but you know what? We still have a shortage of workers. Rates continue to still be high.
Yeah.
The big difference, Dave, to me,
There's not huge
and
layoffs.
you, it's still the fuel. The fuel and the fuel price and the diesel pricing, if that can make a comeback at all,
Right.
that will make a difference.
100%.
I mean, that will curb a lot of things, and I just think Washington, they've got to hear that and see that. Are there things that we can do to curb this? Are there things that you, as a trucking company, or Dave, as an individual, are there things you can do to save money from that fuel? I'm going to say 100% there is.
Yeah.
You do have some control over that. You've got to make sure you're maintaining that, doing that. Hey, we have Ashley with Volvo coming up next on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. We talk about safety, we talk about functionality, we talk about fuel pricing. All of these things, safety, great fuel. You know what? A lot of that is available from that Volvo truck.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And some of the greatest innovations that have ever come out in commercial vehicles first, and then are put out there on the road for testing in commercial vehicles, and then they're implemented in regular automobiles.
If only we had somebody to talk to about some of these innovations, something as simple as a seatbelt. How cool would that be?
You know what? I have a guy in mind.
Oh, do you?
I do. His name's
you know
Ashley
people.
American from Volvo Trucks. What's going on, sir?
How's it going? Glad to be back here.
We're glad to have you. We're excited that you're back. Look, one of The main reason we got you on, Ashley, is we are celebrating this year 60 years of what? Ashley, why don't you come out and talk to us about it?
Oh, when Volvo invented the seat belt and released it to the world. Yeah, it's been 60 years since Volvo introduced the 3-point safety belt.
Not only did they release it, they did not hold the patent on
Hold
it.
on a second, Ashley.
Correct.
When something happens as big as that here on BCB Live, we like to do a little celebration. So some people think, well, it's just a seatbelt. I'm going to say, no, baby, this is big, big stuff. Here we go. Congrats,
It's huge,
man.
it's huge.
No, and not only did they, we talk about the 3-point seat belt. Before then, it was the lap belt, and it just did not save lives like the 3-point seat belt does. And we've all become accustomed to it, but I don't think people knew where it originated from.
Right. Yeah, it originated in Sweden from Volvo. We had an engineer, his name is Nils Bohlin, and he invented this 3-point seat belt and decided not to keep it with Volvo. He decided that it's a big benefit to mankind and released it to the world and released the patent. He was an aviation engineer before he joined Volvo, and came up with this amazing innovation, which is saving thousands of lives since then. So.
Yeah, we've got a couple of videos and stuff like that, but we're not going to show them right now. I think we may show them at the end of the deal, but I will tell you that, there was a time that people were hesitant to use the seat belts.
It wasn't cool, right?
It just wasn't cool.
Right, it was.
I mean, when they first became mandated under the law that you wear a seat belt, that first was the lap belt in the 70s, and then in the 80s, the 3-point seat belt, which what y'all invented prior to that, became mandatory. People just didn't wear them. They didn't want to wear them. They just refused. They thought, oh, I don't need it. It's not comfortable. It hurts my neck. And now I just can't even imagine getting in a vehicle without it, Rick. I mean, seriously, there were times when you didn't wear one, right? Way back.
Oh, for sure. And today, actually, it's we hear the beeping, but it's a habit today. But with the seat belts, you all bring so much more than just the seat belts with the Volvo truck. You're talking about that steel frame. You're talking about some serious safety with that Volvo truck. Hey, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the seatbelt wasn't one big invention, but then Volvo was designed, by the people and for the people. So everything we do in a design is keeping safety in mind. And one of the big things is a high-strength steel cab that we introduced. That also was introduced in 1959. And the high-strength steel cab has 3 times the strength-to-weight ratio of aluminum cab. So the perfect analogy is, think about if you have a soup can, try crushing that soup can with one hand versus try to crush a soda can with one hand. It's easy to crush a soda can with one hand, but not a soup. So imagine being in a truck which is made out of high-strength steel. That's the kind of safety that we take into consideration. And not only do we have a high-strength steel cab, we put our cab through intense testing. So we put it through the Swedish impact cab test, and that test is designed to simulate a real-world accident where the truck rolls over and hits a hard object, and then the cargo dislocates and hits the back of the cab. So we have this big intense test. And then the result of the test is that the driver's space should remain intact, okay? And the door should remain closed during the test. And after the test, the door should open with one single hand pull without the use of any tools. And we put our trucks through that kind of testing.
Actually, to you, so BCB, it stands for Be Safe, Communicate, and if you can, be on time. That's what we preach on this show right here. To you, Ashley, I mean, what is safety? I mean, are you that passionate about safety at Volvo? I mean, you're just another of the thousands of workers they have there, right? Does safety really mean that much to you in that truck?
Definitely it does. I mean, safety is in our DNA. In everything we do, we have safety. I mean, Volvo is synonymous to safety. So in every process that we have, safety is the number one check that we go through. So without safety, whether we're designing a frame rail, whether we're designing a steering column, everything has safety element in it. Like, I'll give you an example for a frame rail. Our frame rails at Volvo are flared. Why is it flared? Because we want the engine and transmission to sit lower. And what does that do? It prevents the engine and transmission from going into the cab in the event of an accident. And the other important innovation is these engine and transmission is mounted on the frame rail, and when the accident happens, it dismounts from the frame rail and it goes downwards. So all the energy is dissipated during the crash and prevents it from going into the cab. So we think about every single detail when we design our entire truck, right?
And you know, and that's in structural design, both the steel cab and the frame rails and understanding. And I know that the windshields, they're roped in, they're not sealed in, so you can actually just put your foot on them and push them out if you needed to escape through the windshield. Those are structural designs that are innovative to create safety. But y'all also have a lot of technical safety features, right, that are added into the Volvo that is out there in the market. Go ahead and mention some of those technical features.
Yeah. So there are advanced driver assistance systems. We also call it active safety. So you have the collision mitigation system, and you have lane departure warning systems. You have blind spot detection systems. So all of these systems are designed to assist the driver while they drive. And because in today's driving environment, a lot of drivers are subject to distracted driving. So anything that you can use to assist them to mitigate the accident, or even if they're not paying attention, the truck will take over to try to mitigate the effect of the accident or avoid the accident altogether. So, and we also have Volvo dynamic steering, which is an active steering technology that helps the driver as well. Again, all of these things also prevent fatigue and keeps the driver's mind alert. So it prevents physical and mental fatigue. So all of these things keep contributing to safety. Even the transmission, right? We introduced the I-Shift transmission, which is an automated manual transmission. The driver can pay attention to the road. They don't have to worry about shifting gears. So all of these things together, put in together, contributes to the overall safety of the truck.
You know, it allows for a more focused driver, and we'll talk a couple, and to talk about each of those features individually a little bit. So in a big truck, there's a huge blind spot on the opposite side. That blind spot recognition system that allows the driver to not miss going over there, not moving over, merging into another lane when you can't see, whether in the mirror or in one of the mirrors, you're just not able to see it. The truck itself warns the driver that there's somebody there before they ever move over there.
Exactly. What's that? Sorry, can you repeat the last part?
It actually warns the driver before they actually move over into that into that blind spot area. It's pretty cool. And the other thing I liked about your it gives you an audible alert. Hey, and a visual alert. There's actually a visual alert inside the cab. Pretty amazing piece of technology with all the merging accidents that they have. I tell you I really like the dynamic steering. I'm a big fan of the dynamic steering, of what it entails and what it does for the driver. It does so many different things. Number one, it keeps the driver from being fatigued on the wheel because it's so much easier to use. It's smoother drive. You can almost steer with a finger. I mean, with one finger. I don't know if anybody understands what that means in a big truck, but that's huge. That you're not up there working the wheel.
Because you don't have a little thing on the steering wheel.
You don't need the little knob on the steering wheel. And also, that dynamic steering allows for, it has its own technology built in that allows for those incidences like a steer tire go out. It allows for that to also help, not that instead of that huge that yank of the wheel, it compensates that in that moment and allows the driver to remain control with just very little on the wheel, and that is huge. And I think it will save tons of lives. I think it'll be remarkable in the overall outcome. I am so
actually maybe you should ask Drive Safe Dave some questions about the Volvo product.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm so excited about some of the product features that you got.
He's a lover of the Volvo. I'm going to tell you, this guy preaches the Volvo thing. So he's It's like he's almost asking you the question and then answering it for you as well. You know.
I love the passion. It's great.
Hey, tell me this. When are we going to have this? Here's what I'm, semi-autonomous. Am I as a driver going to be able to stretch, take my hand off the wheel, and look around, and that truck just stay in the lane and keep going? Am I dreaming?
Yeah. Volvo is working on it right now. We have a collaboration with this company called Aurora, and we're testing it on the roads as we speak. So from hub to hub, transportation, from big hub to another hub, we can do it. I mean, we're already doing it for vocational sites, the mining sites, sugarcane industries, in different areas. In ports, we're doing it. So it's just a matter of time before you'll start seeing it on the roads. Yeah.
So so it's not really a lane departure anymore. It's what is it actually? It's just.
Oh yeah, so there's different ways, right? So there's level 1 autonomy, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So the lane keep assist is level 2 autonomy, where you don't have to use your hands or your feet, but the driver is still in control. The truck can give you control at any time. So it doesn't mean you just let go and sit with your arms up in your head. You got to keep your hands in the steering wheel still. And then there's level 3 and level 4, which is where the truck, especially level 4, where the truck takes control and the driver doesn't have to do anything. But that's within a confined location. So you have to in a predetermined location. It's not just you put a random location, the GPS, and go. No, it has to be in a confined. And level 5 is complete automation, where you can just put any direction and the truck will just drive itself and take you wherever you want. But yeah, Volvo is working right now on level 4 automation with Aurora.
That's pretty cool.
No, and we see a lot of that here in Texas, right, with the Aurora trucks going between Dallas and Houston. So
and out
that's
west
a big
towards
area.
Arizona, I think. Out west on I-10 and I-20.
Right. Yes, those are the hub to hub. We're testing that exactly. So a lot of exciting things to come. So yeah.
You got can you let something out of the bag?
Come on, give us a secret.
Only the listeners of BCB Live will know this. I think I can get you the okay if you need it.
Yeah, we deserve it.
Yeah, but can you, what's next with that Volvo? I mean, it's already the safest truck out there on the road. It's already, the fuel mileage. Y'all are working on the autonomy. Is there anything that you're doing to make the truck even safer today, as you continue to do more research?
Yeah, I mean, there's the Volvo dynamic steering that you were talking about that you like. You're going to make it even better, right? So that's the sneak peek I can give you. So the Volvo dynamic steering is going to get.
Oh, they're going to make it even better. I'm a big fan already, and now they got it better? No way! Don't say it's so.
Let's just say it's going to get even more intelligent. That's to put it simply, yeah. So
wow,
that's pretty cool stuff. I'm excited. I can't wait for. When is that supposed to release?
In the near future.
That's a safe answer. That's a safe answer.
I like that one. That was a good one there. Coming soon. Coming soon. Yes, it is.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Hey,
stay tuned.
Man, that is awesome. Hey, listen, we want to thank you for being on BCB Live. It's always a pleasure, and it really is to have you on the show to talk about what that Volvo truck is. Owner-operators, trucking companies, we all need to get active and get involved in making sure that the technology that we use on the roadways is is safer than what we had before. We need to continue to trust the technology. And before I let you go, technology. For those companies that haven't had the chance yet to own a newer Volvo truck, I mean, what can you say to a new person, or what do you tell an older driver maybe that's never had that newer truck about all the safety things without making them scared? It's frightening for a driver sometimes to say, I can't trust that technology. Is it really going to do this? And talk to us about your safety stuff. I mean, is there any reason why I shouldn't trust it?
No, I mean, everything is done to make everything more productive and better. I mean, there's a reason why we introduce these technologies, right? Because we're seeing different situations happen and we're trying to innovate. Innovation basically makes everything better. It saves lives, it reduces costs, and it just makes everything more productive. So my main message is try it out. Don't be apprehensive. Once you try it, you'll understand the benefits of it. I mean, you have so many examples of it, like you mentioned, the seat belt, they were apprehensive about in the beginning. Look at it now. Same thing with the I-shift transmission, right? I mean, people were apprehensive from moving from a manual transmission to an automated manual transmission.
Absolutely.
But now, once you try it, you can never go back. And I think the Volvo dynamic steering is one of those. It's going to be very similar. Once you drive something like that, you realize that there's no strain on your arms, your shoulders. You realize how less fatigued you are after an 8-hour drive, and then you're like, why would I even go back to driving the other type of steering again? So,
and I always say this too, Ashley. Hey, there's nothing wrong with 8 miles a gallon. You know what? If you're getting 6 today, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with diesel at 585. A couple of miles a gallon isn't going to hurt you either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't get me started about fuel economy with the Volvo. That's amazing. The TC engine. Oh yeah, that's the way to go.
No doubt.
We were talking safety, boy. You brought up the fuel engine. He just got all smiles over there.
That's my boat too. In this market we're in, and actually we were showing the fuel price, and really since March, what's happened on that. You know what? As owner-operators, as a company like a Volvo, let me tell you something.
Right.
You know, we have got to pay attention to the fuel. The fuel economy is key to any company's success during this market right now.
Yeah, and I hope that.
Absolutely. Yeah, with Volvo again, we pioneered this thing called downspeeding. It's a concept where you operate at a lower RPM at a higher speed, so thereby you save fuel. So with our turbo compound engine, we introduced a new I-torque concept. So with the turbo compound engine, you spec a super fast rear axle ratio with overdrive transmission, and you're cruising at a much lower RPM, thereby saving a lot of fuel. So
Engine's not working as hard to just go just as fast.
Sounds good.
Exactly.
You know, I'll tell you, what I hope is that everyone embraces these technologies, these collision mitigation systems, these lane departure systems, these blind spot. I hope that everyone embraces these technologies and implements them in every purchase of a Volvo, or every purchase of every commercial vehicle out there, so they just become the standard. No longer are they add-ons, but they are absolutely the standard by which you buy the base model, right? Yeah. They should be involved. I think these safety features should automatically be involved. I mean, the seatbelt is in the base model. So I think all of the safety features should be in the base models.
And at Volvo, I mean, we're the only OEM where the airbag also is standard with the truck. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Driver side airbag. So,
isn't that crazy to think that? That is that's a stat that I've heard before, but it's just amazing to me. How are they the only OEM that has the
airbag automatically?
Yeah.
I just think at some point we have to step up and just say, hey, you know what? The base model includes all of these features. But the air conditioner is extra. I mean, I just.
They get a heat stroke and pass out, so that's not a safety issue.
Hey, Ashley, we have to let you go here. Before we do that, though, you know the drill. You've got to say your name. You got to say who you're working with, and you got to say you've been watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Hey, I'm Ashley Murkin here again from Volvo Trucks. And thank you. You're at BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
All right, man. Thank you, Ashley. We'll see you soon, buddy.
Always good, Drive Safe Dave, to have somebody from these OEMs, Volvo specific to this one, because you can see and hear his passion.
Absolutely.
And this is, I mean, that's his passion. He doesn't own Volvo.
No, and he does a great job of letting us know exactly what's coming up. Boy, and not only that, he's excited about the trucks. He's not only excited about the safety features, but you started bringing up the fuel mileage. Boy, he started going off on I-torque and compound. You know what? And I love trucks. You almost lost me, Ashley. You almost lost me. When we come back in just a second, we're going to bring back Double Check Dale, and we're going to go over some weather and safety in just a second. You are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Hey, welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You got Double Check Dale here to talk a little bit of weather. We'll take a break and come back and talk safety. And I say a little bit of weather, there is not much going on today, folks. If we look at the wind and the wind gusts, there's just really no strong winds predicted anytime today. So we're really in a good place for that as far as that goes. We'll take a look at some precipitation, some rain and thunder. A couple things going on. You know, New Mexico is finally getting some much needed rain, a lot of it in the areas where those fires were. So if you are driving on I-25, there is a possibility some local flash flooding from this rain. It does not getting a lot of it, but it's not going to take much with those burn scars to cause some flash flooding. So be aware of that if you're out in the New Mexico area. You know, this morning there's a little bit of storms going on, a little bit in southern Missouri. And then if you look out into Pennsylvania, northern Virginia, you got some thunderstorms going on out there this afternoon. Nothing really predicted to get severe anywhere today. You know, a little bit later this afternoon, we still see those rains out in New Mexico. A little bit more in that southern Missouri, all the way across southern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, up through Pennsylvania and New York. Still seeing some showers this afternoon, late afternoon. And as we go into the evening hours and overnight, really dies down a little bit, except for along the Atlantic coast out in Virginia's and North Carolina. A little bit of a strong storm there on the Colorado, New Mexico border tonight around midnight. And again, New Mexico is still picking rain up even around midnight. And so, you know, as we look ahead to tomorrow morning, we're going to see some strong thunderstorms develop tomorrow morning around the Nebraska-Kansas line. And then out on the East Coast, we're going to see some rain going on out there. But other than that, you know, no storms are predicted to be really strong. If they are, you know, always be aware that there's some strong winds that can be with them. If heavy rain, you know, potential for flash flooding. You know, temperatures is the other newsmaker right now as far as weather go. Another hot day for most of the country. You know, we kick it up to about 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. The dark reds are the 90s, the oranges are in the 80s and stuff, so you can see a very large portion of the United States, except for most of the higher elevations, are going to be in the 80s and 90s today. Some hundreds in the Phoenix and Vegas area. You know, more of the same for tomorrow. You know, we kick it ahead to about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We can see, you know, the 90s and 100s stretch from Houston all the way up to Canada. And so a very, very hot day again tomorrow. Keep plenty of water. Stay hydrated. Take care of your pets. Don't overexert yourself. Hey, as far as those fires go, the black fire is about 50-60% contained right now, and that Herman's Creek fire is about 85% contained right now. Just be aware of it. There's still some smoke out there, and with the rains, you know, that possibility of flash flooding in the areas. With that, we'll be back with safety.
And welcome back to the Drive Safe Dave Show. I am Sir Rick. Here is Drive Safe Dave, you know, running the show, conducting his interviews, and answering them. You know what? I tell you, That is not an easy thing to do. It's not easy to ask the experts a question and answer it for them.
You know what?
I think your answers were right on, though.
I know,
you nailed a bunch of them.
Yeah. If I'm Ashley right now, I'm a little worried about my job. I'm hoping Drive Safe Dave doesn't want to relocate up to the Carolinas right now.
You know what? I get a little excited when we start talking about trucks. I do like trucks, and we get a little excited talking about and some of the new technology for the drivers involved in the trucks. I just get a little giddy. I don't know what it is.
And I love the gear ratios. Always been really excited about the gear ratios and PSI and dynamic steering. Always a big fan of all of that, and and how it ties into safety.
Yes, and what a great interview, because today's safety topic, we're talking about distracted driving, and today we're going to talk a little about technology, because technology really can be a distraction to us. iPhone and CarPlay, Apple CarPlay users are more than twice as likely as Android users to use video chat and stream shows on Netflix or Hulu while they're driving. I mean, so it's just crazy. We get all this great technology, we get the hands-free thing, and now we give them video chat, so now we start looking back at our screen. I mean, it just blows my mind, We do things to make it safer, and then we give them the opportunity to take that away, to give them more distractions with that video chat. 10% of iPhone users admit watching videos or YouTube while driving.
What's wrong, Drive Safe?
I feel a little upset. I have.
You feel upset that you're not watching TV while you drive?
No, that I have something in my car that I did not know how to use, and that now you're telling me I could have had a video. I thought my phone was disabled. I thought it disabled while you were moving.
No,
I've never been on my phone when I've been moving, so I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh come on.
I've been known to
Look at this guy over here.
I've been known to steal wood, but that's as far as it
steal
goes.
wood, but he won't come clean about his iPhone calling while he's driving down the road. Seriously.
I'm more focused on looking for the next stop sign that I can stop at. You know what? Big believer in stop signs. You know what? That's
go out of your way.
Deal, yes.
You go out of your way just to stop at a stop sign.
I try to find them. It's an exciting thing for me.
But I mean, all the screens are there. The screens in your cars are disabled from watching the videos, but I mean, that doesn't stop people or drivers from taking their iPad or their tablet. And drivers call in all the time. You should have seen this. This person's watching a movie. You can tell you what movie they're watching going down. They got such a big screen going on. And so we just have to take those distractions away. We talk about being on the phone being a distraction. Hey, watching a video chatting, that's a distraction. Folks,
if you're watching this while you're driving, you can't do that either, right? That's a distraction. Listen to us on the YouTube. You know what? Find what you can't watch or watch it later on LinkedIn. You've got to make sure that you're out there doing the safest things all the time.
There we go. Let's look at some videos this morning.
And then, speaking of safest things all the time, we have videos that will show you the safest way to be all the time.
Here's one we just need to drop back. We start, got a little bit of distance, and we actually close the distance in here as we watch the speed a little bit. We pick up a speed a mile or two. Just got to drop back. It comes back to that recognizing that we're too close, taking that step and correcting it, listening to that in-cab coaching that's saying following too close, increased distance. And so that's just what we got to do.
Yeah, I'm just, again, technology to me says that why does it allow you to get this close? I've always been a believer, if this were a new truck, again, we don't know what it is, but if in fact this is unsafe to be this close, why do we allow it to be this close?
Okay, first of all, and I agree with you in a lot of ways, if this was an autonomous vehicle, it wouldn't be this close.
Yeah, there's no chance it would.
Right, yeah.
The autonomous vehicle is designed first and foremost about safety, and it's going to fall back and make sure it has the time to stop just in case something were to happen.
Correct.
We've got to treat it the same way. And all I'm saying, though, Dave, and Dale, what are your thoughts, is that in today's world of technology, if in fact this were a newer truck, okay, let's just say it's a 2022, why is it allowed to fall this close?
Yeah, and well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, we have technology to help us, and then we create technology to help override that. And so all we're really doing is override it. Until we get the vehicle that's going to do it, until we have that companies and the drivers that are just going to follow that, turn those settings on for the safety so it can't get that close. Use that adaptive cruise or that following distance so it doesn't allow it.
I will tell you that as you look at this, and what's happened here is it's become a habit that you get this close at this speed.
I'm done with the habit, though, because the habits should start changing when you, again, I'm looking up here on the right, we can see that it's a Samsara technology. That means there should be self-coaching going on.
Oh, yeah.
when technology, when it exists, and this does exist now, if it's telling you to back off because you're unsafe right now, you should just back off. I mean,
you're
what
less
do
than a
you
second.
know that the technology doesn't know?
Yeah, you're less than a second.
Yeah. I mean, and the driver's going to say, "Well, it's getting ready to pass." Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
Still have to do it
great.
the same.
That's
They have to
exactly
do it the
what you're gonna
safest
hear
way.
on this. Yeah, for sure.
You know, good piece of defensive driving by the truck driver here. You know, seeing that this tractor and trailer's coming over, not one lane but two lanes. Hey, if you're that driver, go to the next exit. Don't do this. It's so unsafe.
This is a lot closer to this. Right there to that.
that barricade,
yeah,
I mean, that came up pretty quick on him. So don't do it. I mean, a great piece of defensive driving by this driver. You know, hard brake actually helped him get down to that speed limit, that suggested speed limit, which was 50, because we're hitting that ramp pretty hard. But again, drivers, if you miss your exit, don't cut two lanes to get over. You've just put a lot of people in danger.
Hey, don't forget too, this is another reminder that when you take these exit ramp, and exit, I mean, the speed typically drops in the 40s. We see 50 here, but you've got to start reducing your speed.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you know what? This right here allowed the driver, you can see it just really kind of drops. It was going 64, 65 before, 62, 63, and then this happens 60. We're actually gaining speed, as we enter into this exit when the speed's going to drop, Dave.
Yeah, as you exit, you need to bleed off your speed. It says 50 mile an hour in the exit lane. You need to be well below the posted speed limit. That's for not commercial vehicles. That's for
four-wheelers,
four-wheelers
ideal
by design.
conditions.
And I'm just telling you, you need to start bleeding off your speed. I do see that it's an uphill climb, and I understand that it'll bleed off some, but this truck has to push down all the way into the 30s to avoid collision with this car.
But again, the positive is, hey, you saw it come, you backed off, you stopped plenty of time on all this.
Good
the
vision.
driver in the blue, if you're watching this show, go to the next exit. Go to the next exit.
It's a double white line flag.
Got stale green coming up. Driver recognizes, starts to slow down, gets stopped for it in plenty of time. But these four-wheelers just go right blasted through that. We just continue to see that, and that's why intersections are so dangerous. We see the second vehicle come up, I believe, white pickup, has no idea what's coming up at that intersection on the right side, because we put him in a blind spot. He's put himself in a blind spot. Just so dangerous. We got to make sure driver does a great job stopping for that yellow light, protecting anybody behind him, but can't protect both lanes.
Yeah. Hey, Drive Safe, question for you on this one here. Is that what it's like when you talk to me right now? Is that what you like, that light there? Is that what you see?
No, that's not. The red light, yes. the red
The
light.
sunlight. Is
The
that,
guy running through the yellow. Yeah, that's what it's like. The guy running through the yellow.
And we're going to see very, very much the same thing going on right here. But, this one has an added twist to it. We have a pedestrian standing right there, and that car goes right through that red light. I just think that pedestrian thinks, I'm going to start walking a little bit earlier. And, again, that vehicle in the left-hand lane is blocked, can't see a grid, doesn't have good vision, what's going off to the right. So, again, just lights change, stop for him. Driver does a great job in this. I wish all the four-wheelers would do the same.
Whew. Well, we're talking about your uncomfortable places to be in the big truck, Dave.
Downtown?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Downtown Lincoln, Nebraska.
It's never fun in any downtown.
Got a lot of heavy traffic going on here, and we're following too close. We just have to create that space. We have to back up, especially as the chaos goes. One of the tendencies is if we go a couple miles an hour slower than prevailing traffic, you never get too close and traffic is pulling away. That's really not what's happening here. We're kind of running with the traffic. So if we back off 1 or 2 miles, everybody starts pulling away, and we don't get into that following too close system. And again, there's some in-cab coaching going on right now.
Yeah, know your situational awareness right now. Just understand that you're in a heavy traffic area right now. You have a lot of lanes in here. And Dave, when you see a lot of lanes, it's telling you what?
You're in a metropolitan area, in a high populated area, usually running in or out of a big city. And when you're going to do that, guess what's going to happen? You're going to run into traffic. Doesn't matter what time of day or for whatever reason, all of these lanes of traffic can come to a complete stop at any moment, and you've got to be prepared for that. And right now, running this close, you're genuinely not.
You know, this next video right here, there is a lot going on in this one too. We see some construction barrels and we got an exit ramp that's closed and everything. We're following too close. And so you just got to, again, recognize that situational awareness, everything that's going on, the added obstacles to it. Just need to back off, create that space so if something starts to happen, we have the room to react.
You're so close from being that required distance away on this one, right? I mean, you just all you have to do is slow down for a second and a half, and then maintain your speed again, and you're the perfect distance away. That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, just recognizing that we're not asking you to go slower. We're asking you to maybe to go slower for a second and a half, and then go back to maintain that same speed. That's all we're asking you to do. You're not gonna lose time because you're still going 62 miles an hour.
Yeah. And maintain a defensive posture.
Are we
throughout.
saying that the right way? Is what we're saying making sense?
Yes.
You know, I think it makes sense to us. But yeah, again, you're not going to lose time. The reason you're not going to lose time is because once you slow down to get that 4 seconds behind this, you're going to maintain the exact same speed you're going right now.
Yep. Absolutely.
And safely.
You know, in this last one right here, it's kind of a double whammy because one, we're too close, and two, we're over the speed limit. So if we travel the speed limit right now, we're not following too close. You know, so all we've got to do is back off, hit the speed limit. That vehicle's pulling away from us. We don't make that quick lane change and get into a second following too close situation. And so just slow it down.
And I'm going to guess on this. I don't see again, what kind of truck is this, Dave? Can we tell?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a Freightliner Coronado.
Freightliner. Okay, it's a Freightliner. So it's, and all I'm going to say is it tends to be an independent contractor truck, right? And as an independent contractor out there running right now, you just don't see a lot of company trucks out there with them. You know, the contractor trucks, they're all, or the company trucks are all like fuel efficient looking. You know, this just that doesn't have the look of fuel efficient when I look at this truck right here. Drive safe, Dave. In any case, if you are an owner-operator, or heck, if you're a company driver driving this truck right now, you're not going to get the maximum fuel economy at 73 miles an hour.
None. No way.
And that's my point on this is if at any moment, right now is the time that you drop it down. You go 65 miles an hour. Well, but now you know what? You're going to go the same distance. You know what you're going to do? You're going to make so much more money on your fuel.
Yep.
You know, and you're going to make it easier on your engine. There's nothing bad about going 65. You need to find a way. The reason's there. There's two reasons. Number one, it's safer, and number two, you're going to save a lot of money on fuel.
By the way, most people don't realize the difference between 73 miles an hour and 65 is 20% in fuel savings. 20%. Not even a little bit. It's that much.
So today you're going to spend $1,000 every time you fuel up, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're going to spend $1,000 easy every time you fuel up right now. That means 20% of $1,000. That's just easy numbers. That means that same $1,000 would only cost you $800.
Correct.
It's $200, and if you fuel up twice a week, that's $400 of cash a week
Correct.
of savings. And if you take it times the next 4 weeks, Dave, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's $1,600. That's out of your pocket. It's savings in fuel alone by reducing your speed from 73 to 65. I'm just telling you that it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but that 8 miles an hour of pushing that much air out of the way in front of that truck makes a huge difference in the amount of fuel that it takes to do that, because you are pushing a ton of air out of the way.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what make or model of truck it is.
It doesn't matter.
If you go slower, you get better fuel economy, just the way it works.
And, you know, in the Wall Street Journal today, it talked about, ways for cars to save money. I meant to bring that in here, but you know what? I went through the thing, and there's like 10 different ways, and none of the top 10 reasons or ways to save fuel included going faster. Okay? Not one. I went through all of them. Not one of them said going faster.
Accelerate faster? That didn't come in?
Nowhere on there.
It's a good point. I'm pretty sure you're right on the money with that. Right on the money.
Yeah, so it's just, again, we want you to be safe, but we want you to make money right now. And as fuel is high right now, there are things you can do. And again, Dave, here's owner-operators, you have your reason. Independent contractors, right? Listen, it's safer and it saves you money. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
There's no reason. You have every reason to slow down. the challenge, Dave, are those company trucks, right?
Yeah.
You know, who goes first? Does the company slow them down? You know, because of the fuel economy, because of the cash they're losing right now?
Absolutely.
Or do the drivers start slowing down? You know, and companies are scared to do that, Dave, because, oh, the so-and-so is going to leave. They're going to go somewhere else that doesn't care how fast they go. And I'm like, it's a fine line. As a company driver, I'm going to say this, and, you know, I'll go back to, say, like Ashley on the Volvo side. You've got to have that same passion to save your company money. Like Ashley had with Volvo to save lives, making that. It's not his company. Volvo, he doesn't own Volvo, but he's got a passion for making sure the product they're giving out there is the safest for you. As a company driver today, you've got to have that same passion that says, I've got to slow down because it's going to make my company safer, and it's going to create some cash flow that company needs today. You've got to have a passion for your company. You're going to get the same miles. You know what? You need that company to be successful. You should want that company to be successful. These are going to be some trying times. I'm just telling you, companies are going to start struggling right now, and they should do it. You know, already is reduce it. Number one, it's better for the economy.
It is 100% better, and I'm telling you right now, it'll make a huge impact on the overall savings of the amount of fuel that you purchase. And I'll tell you some of the other conversations that you have as drivers worry about that, and believe it or not, more drivers are concerned about getting to a place to park than they're getting to a place to deliver.
Yep.
And it's generally their concern. I mean, during these summer months, though, like today is the second longest day of the year after the summer solstice, but so you have a lot longer. The sun doesn't go down until about 9 o'clock here in Texas, and you have a lot longer to get to the truck stops. But understand that you're not in a hurry. And I'll tell you, that's where the fallacy comes in your mindset, is when you start telling yourself that you're in a hurry, whether it is to get to a parking space, or whether it is to get to the consignee, or whether it is to get wherever it is you're going. When you start telling yourself that you're in a little bit of a hurry, you disregard the speed at which you're running. You tend to push a little bit harder on the fuel.
Yep.
You tend to push a little bit harder where you're going. So understand, you're not in a hurry. Ever, for safety reasons, number one, you're not in a hurry. Don't ever get in that mindset. And number two, think about how much money you can save.
Yes.
Challenge yourself to save money.
Save money. Hey, drive safe. You said a word. Was it the summer solstice? What is it called?
Summer solstice?
Summer solstice?
Yeah, that's...
Don't forget to, as we get to that that the katydids make their appearances during this time of the season as well. Watch out for the katydids up there. They come out of the ground for their
cicadas.
Cicadas. There you go.
Katydid, cicada, it's all.
Cicadas. John say they're all the same. Potatoes,
Wow.
locusts.
The bugs.
Let's be honest, they're locusts. So they're all coming out of the ground and making their appearance right now. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for giving us the people that we can talk to that have that same passion for what we do. And I'm going to ask you, to be with those companies like these OEMs out there, that they can continue to focus on safety. Be with those folks at Volvo, those people that are creating this product, that are inventing things, that are doing the research, that they understand it, and maybe they see somebody, talk to somebody that makes them realize how important it is what they're doing to make a safer vehicle. We ask you the same thing, to be with these drivers that are driving these vehicles, to give them that ability, that want, that drive, that desire to be safer on that road, to get us all back home safe. We ask all this in your son's name. Amen. Everybody, thank you for watching BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.